few months ago, a BBC News article caught my attention. It spoke of the great online toaster hoax and how it had been exposed. Now, I was curious, how could there be a great hoax about toasters? I imagined that someone must have been selling toasters online and they didn't work quite right. After all, we've probably all had toasters that toasted one side better than the other. But this was a hoax about who actually invented the toaster. And the amazing thing is just how accepted and widespread the hoax became. Before I get to the hoax itself, let me tell you how it was finally exposed. A 15-year-old kid was bored one day in class, and so he started playing around on his computer. I know that no children listening to this would ever stop paying attention in class. But he began to do searches on a certain frequently used website for looking up information that often functions like an encyclopedia. Earlier, a teacher had mentioned how there was an entry for a Scottish man who invented the toaster, a man named Alan McMasters. The student decided to look at the entry. The article contained a black and white photo of a young man with long sideburns gazing off into the distance. The more the student looked at the photo, the stranger it appeared to him. It did not look normal, it looked as if it had been edited. So he posted his suspicions online, not realizing just how big a discovery he had made. Until this point, if you had searched online for who invented the first toaster, many sites, including the previously mentioned online encyclopedia, would have told you that it's Alan McMasters. In fact, many online sites today will still tell you it is him. There are even many books published in various languages that state McMasters is the inventor of the toaster. In 2018, apparently, McMasters was even included on a list of 988 other contenders to have his image appear on the next 50-pound note for his contribution to science. In short, it was widely held, and still held by many, that McMasters invented the toaster. The Scottish people are justifiably proud of the fact that they've invented or perfected many items over the years. To name just a few of the better known ones, you have the telephone by Alexander Graham Bell, who was born in Scotland, and Alexander Fleming, who won the Nobel Prize for discovering penicillin. You also have James Watt's perfecting of the steam engine, and James Logie Bayard, who demonstrated the first working television system. From sports such as golf to improvements in roads such as tarmac, through to the modern flushing toilet, we have the Scots to thank for many great innovations, but probably not, as we'll see, the invention of the electric toaster. The problem is, the real Alan McMasters not only did not invent the toaster, but he was born long after it was invented. On February 6, 2012, Alan was attending a university when his professor warned him about using the Internet Encyclopedia site as a source. For while it is very useful and very helpful, and is often checked by editors, anyone can create information on it. As an example, the professor said that one of his friends, named Matty Kennedy, had used his own name as the inventor of the toaster. As you can imagine, Alan and his classmates were quite amused by this story. One of his classmates, a close friend named Alex, decided it would be fun to change the article, figuring that since it was already fake, it would not matter. So Alex created an article that stated the toaster was invented by Alan McMasters, his friend, in Edinburgh in 1893. Being quite the joker, Alex was curious how far he could take things. So he next created a longer article about the supposed inventor. The article has since been removed from the website. Instead, if you search Alan McMasters now, it will take you to a link of known hoaxes. I have read the original article, and it said that Alan was born in 1865. It goes on to state that while McMasters was developing a new lighting system to light up the Glasgow Underground, a clever piece of historical fiction as it sounds plausible, it was doing this that he inadvertently invented the toaster. The now removed article stated that while trying to save money, McMasters had used light bulbs with cheap nickel wire in the filaments. The bulbs became so hot that nearby bread began to brown. According to the fake story, McMasters told this to a man named Crompton, who actually was a real-life inventor and seller of electronic appliances. The fake story then says that Crompton convinced McMasters to work in his laboratory on an invention that would toast bread. According to this rather clever article, the toasters were sold as the Eclipse model, and one of them caused the first deadly appliance fire in all Britain. It even cites a newspaper article, which later was proved to be fake. It went on to claim that the invention of the electric kettle can also be attributed to McMasters, as it made use of the same technology. So how is it that this hoax could go on for so long, In fact, as I said, many articles and books still cite McMasters as the inventor of the toaster. The answer lies in what is called circular referencing. The original fake article is read, and then people begin to make use of it, not often citing their source. These books and newspaper articles would then be cited by the article itself as proof. And then more books and newspaper articles would cite the original websites. And then the website would then cite those sources, and so on and so on. Fortunately, in the case of this story, the people involved came forward and admitted the hoax, which they thought was just a very funny joke. Otherwise, it's likely that this might not have been ever found out. So there you have the story of the great toaster hoax. May it remind us to not always trust what you see or hear on the internet, unless of course it's on one of my videos. For now, goodbye. Cheery Andrasta.